get Aaron Rodgers for 2 years and then Zach Wilson takes over. We're all set. Doesn't make any sense.
Hold up.
Now, yes, ideally you have a young quarterback who develops, and I think that Zach Wilson playing and sitting behind Aaron Rodgers and being with Aaron Rodgers every day at practice, watching how a quarterback of that caliber prepares, Zach Wilson would undeniably only be able to get better during that process. So this isn't a Zach Wilson just sucks, he's never going to be anything in the league kind of video. Zach Wilson, there's two undeniable facts about Zach Wilson. Number one, he has incredible physical traits that made him the number 2 overall pick that a lot of other teams would have taken him, not just the Jets. Number two, he was absolutely horrendous in year 2, and you would be banking on Zach Wilson making one of the biggest career turnarounds in modern quarterback history if he were to become a franchise quarterback. So those are just two things that are pretty much undeniable. Now, the problem with this is timeline and contracts. If you're getting, now I've mostly heard this with the Aaron Rodgers potential, because if you bring in Aaron Rodgers, then he's not as much of a long-term commitment as Carr, then that leaves the door open for Zach Wilson to take over and be your starter. But I think either way they go, I don't know if Zach Wilson's here with the Jets in the future. Because if it's Rodgers, you hope you get 2 years out of Aaron Rodgers, right? If you're trading for him, that's what you hope. That would take us to Zach's 5th year being after Rodgers leaves. But are the Jets going to sign up for Zach Wilson's 5th year option, which would be north of $20 million, when they haven't seen him play again? And the last time they saw him in a game a few years ago, he didn't look anywhere close to being a starting quarterback in the NFL. Are they going to do that? Are they going to say, yep, $20 million. It's yours for year 5. Let's go. You're our starter. Because if you're paying him $20 million, he's going to be your starter. So would they, in any scenario, commit to Zach Wilson being their starter at $20 million a year when they hadn't seen him play? Now, maybe you say they don't pick up the 5th year option, but then they just re-sign Zach for a cheaper deal. Well, now, on the other side of the coin, why in the world would Zach Wilson want to do that? Zach Wilson probably wants to get the F out of Dodge. He probably wants a fresh start somewhere else. If he could just leave now and go, he probably would. So Zach Wilson's going to re-sign with the Jets and then say, I'm going to be their starting quarterback after Aaron Rodgers. So I'm going to go from being benched for Mike White and Chris Trevler and then being Aaron Rodgers' backup. And now I'm going to be the guy who follows up Aaron Rodgers, which if Aaron Rodgers comes here for 2 years, it's going to be the best quarterbacking that the Jets have seen like close to ever. And Zach Wilson's going to sign up to follow that. And our fan base who is DMing his mom and all that stuff, I think Zach Wilson would most likely sign a very cheap deal to try and resurrect his career somewhere else. Because someone would give him a shot. Someone would give him a cheap shot, number 2 overall pick. They would. Now, the only way I could see this happening, the only window that could open this up as a possibility would be if the Jets were to bring in Rodgers and say Rodgers twists an ankle and he has to miss a month. And Zach comes in and looks unbelievable. Like 4 straight games, goes like whatever, 11 touchdowns and 1 pick, completing nearly 70% of his passes and just looks amazing. Okay, then maybe the Jets say, you know what? It's just enough for us to cut that $20 million check for 1 year and give one more shot into this massive investment that we made. That's the only way I see it happening. So I just don't think Zach Wilson, although I think what they're saying is true, they believe in him, they want to develop him. If, of course, he's on the football team, you want him to become a better football player. I don't know if he factors into the decision of the investment they're going to make at quarterback. That's the way I see it. Hey, Zach Rosenblatt joined me to talk about Jets quarterback situation and much more. We'll see you in that one. Go Jets.